A lot of people, have blockages with accepting new methodologies. Like a lot of the way we perceive things that work are from a very institutional standpoint, meaning that, the way we perceive love, the way we perceive happiness, the way we perceive business, the way we perceive so much of our existence has to do with academic institutions. And the goal of academic institution was to provide information and direction for the people of its surrounding communities. And America being a huge immigration country, that need to educate and to assimilate was a big part of how our country has evolved. And so today, and it's very apparent in the business world, that the knowledge that the institutions have because of technology, the needs of the people versus what the institutions have to offer, there's a huge gap. And so that's why most kids are going to college today and they can't get jobs. Most people today are getting business degrees, MBAs are not graduate degrees, and they're not able to get jobs. And the reason why is that the thinking that they have and the methodologies that they learn are not congruent to what's going on right now in society. So when you look at Shahin's methodology, it's a methodology that is connected to the right now because it was developed by an individual that's living in real time, that is responding to real-time conditions and scenarios, and created a solution based off of that. And so when you look at all the great innovation that's happened in America and around the world, it's come from people who were dealing with things in real time and transform those experiences into solutions for other people. And so when you look at his methodology, it's easy to say like, well, what makes you significant, or what makes this work, or what makes this happen? People need to understand that we're in the 21st century and we're in the age of the individual. We're not in the age of the 20th century when it was the age of the corporation, and the age of the 19th century when it was all about governments and organized government, and before that in the 17th century you had nation states or whatnot. So we're in the age of the individual, which means the individual has more ability to impact the world than ever before. And so the information to fuel such an opportunity has to come from an individual. It can't come from an institution. It can't come from a group of Harvard professors or a group of Yale professors or some think tank, some Fortune 500 company's campus. It's going to come from a real person that's in the real time dealing with real issues based off of the economy today, based off of spirituality today, based off of health today, and geographical scenarios of what's going on. And I think it's very impressive when you look at Shahin's background, being a person who immigrated from Iran and out of fear and tyranny. He had to leave a bad situation, and he went through a place like Pakistan and eventually came to the United States and had all these different perspectives about religion and how things work, and when it really went on a journey for like 15 years where he just studied, with some of the like top people in the world, in Jewish philosophy, Jewish thought, and Torah, Kabbalah, and then he doing the thing with linguistic programming, all these different missions of like really somewhat out of the box way of thinking, but he brought them all together and created a methodology. And this methodology is the very methodology that has affected me, and has affected many people around, and helped us all have breakthroughs. So the way of seeing what Shahin and Tanya are doing, is seeing them as people in the age of the individual that are providing solutions for the individual. People who per se go to school for therapy and all these other things, that information was based off of a broad way of dealing with communal issues. So if you go to school and study psychotherapy, you're studying it from the historical standpoint and great philosophical or thinkers and their ways of how they felt that the mind works, the brain works, the emotion works, and they develop methodologies based off of that. And there is a certain level of success. But we're saying, just like in the business world in the world of food and medicines or whatever, that world has changed tremendously. In that same way, the way we break through, the way we see greater realities, the way we see our potential has also changed. And so the solutions and the scenario, the methodology he's created is exactly what the world needs. It needs people, regular people that are dealing with everyday struggles, going through everyday scenarios, and they have the courage and the merit to be able to take those experiences and use the knowledge provided through the spiritual system and other methodologies, and combine those systems to create a methodology for regular people to break through in real time. So we're in the age of the individual. Individuals have to create the solutions, not institutions. And what Shahin has created is a methodology for any individual or any group of individuals to break through and to pursue things that they want to pursue. Maybe people may want to pursue this thing or maybe some other form of therapy or whatever, but the point to get in touch with yourself enough to be able to go on that journey, or even to know exactly what you're looking for. Some people may need to change their diet. Some people need to communicate better. Some people need to take more risk. But in order to understand that, you need to break through where you're at currently. And so when Tanya's talking about the homeless guy or the family that hasn't had food to eat, these are people that maybe they need a specific form of a diet or maybe a certain aspect of therapy, but until they break through where they're at, they have no idea. Now they can meet a therapist, and the therapist's job is to give you therapy, but that may not be what they need. They may need something else. So until you find a sense of self by breaking through whatever the shell is that has trapped me, you, or anyone else, till you break through that, you don't even know really what you need. So in closing, that's really the greatest opportunity, by working with Tanya and Shahin, is to be able to say, like, hey, these are real people that are dealing with real issues. They're dealing with, financial, family, spiritual, all these different things they're dealing with. And through that struggle, they created systems and strategies and methodologies. And that I can trust. Going to someone who, knew about Sigmund Freud or this philosophy or that idea, whatever, I mean, it's great and there's truth in it and there's a benefit to it. But I need information. They're going to give me results right now. And the only people that can provide that are people that are really living in that capacity and are finding solutions and have the intellectual acumen to be able to process these different experiences and learnings and being able to share it with other people.